Hi Swifties, welcome back to my channel. If you have never been to this channel before, my name is Zach. I am the Swiftologist, and on this channel I like to talk about all things pop culture through an analytical lens. I'm a journalist by trade and a Swiftie by choice, so often when I'm not analyzing other cultural phenomenons, I'm very likely talking about Taylor Swift, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. So if that sounds good to you, make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave me a comment, and let me know. At the end of this video, I'm going to be doing kind of like a State of the Union. Someone suggested that to me in a comment the other day, and I thought that it was hilarious. A State of the Swiftie Union, kind of addressing the nation of Swifties, if you will, and discussing issues that are pertinent to our community, specifically to the Swiftologists in this community. So stay tuned to the end if you would like to see that. But before I get into my State of the Union, I wanted to do something a little cuckoo banana. I want to do something crazy. I want to do the thing that I get mad at other people for doing, and that is wildly speculating with absolutely no basis or rhyme or reason to do so. And what am I going to be speculating about? Well, I think you can imagine it's going to be Taylor Swift related, and you read the title of this video. So I will be speculating on what exactly the 5 announced tracks from Midnights are going to sound like based off of literally no solid information. Now, there are allegedly some more tracks out there that I could have analyzed belonging to a leak. I will not be analyzing them today because I was retweeting it and someone got really mad at me, and everybody doesn't want to spread leaks, and like, I cannot be having leak discourse in the year 2022. Like, I've already suffered through like 4 or 5 album releases all the way back to Speak Now, and I have done the moralizing about whether or not we should share leaks, okay? So I'm over it. Either way, I'm not going to share leaks because, you know, nobody can just sit there and eat their food. It has to always be a thing. So I will not be sharing anything that is not publicly available knowledge. But from the 5 tracks that we have from Midnight's Mayhem with me, I am going to, yeah, like I said, do a deep dive into the vibes and the detections that I'm picking up on. Now, again, these are completely, may I stress to you, unfounded. These are literally just my hunches. In my onion, this is what I think these songs are going to be about. This is what I think they're going to sound like. This is what I think the vibe is going to be. And you don't have to agree. You do not have to agree. I also am not going to be diving into any like conspiracy theories because I don't believe anyone else's theories. I will only ever believe a theory if it's like proven true in hindsight. So for months on end, I said TS10 wasn't real, and I maintained that it wasn't real, and I can still see why I thought that it wasn't real, but when it came about, I had to eat humble pie. So if I am wrong about any of these predictions, trust and believe I will eat crow the day that Midnights drops in my reaction video, which I'm so excited to film, and I hope you guys are looking forward to seeing. So what we know for sure is going to be on the record so far are the tracks Mastermind, Vigilante Shit, Question, Maroon, and Midnight Rain. And you know, I am very excited about a variety of these tracks. Bear with me, suspend your disbelief, let's have fun, let's speculate. You guys should leave comments and let me know what you think these songs are going to be like. If you agree with me, I would love to hear from you. If you disagree with me, I would love to hear from you in a respectful manner. All right, so let's start off with the first girl that entered the classroom, Mastermind. Okay, I have a reaction video to that on my channel, which you should check out. I lost it. I was like very bamboozled and overwhelmed. And to this day, I am still unclear as to what this song is going to be about. But there's one kind of avenue that I keep returning to when I think about this song, and that is the Scott Borchetta and Scooter Braun drama. Now, before we go any further, I have to do my prayer. Dear Lord, please make Scott Borchetta and Scooter Braun have the worst possible days imaginable and make them experience some very minor or major irritants throughout their day. Amen. It's kind of giving me, again, this is completely unfounded and based on nothing, Mad Woman-esque type song vibes, leaning into that like diabolical, evil, I'm the king of the world, toxic man trait. Like maybe it's a parody of them from their perspective about what they would say about her, or it could be completely about how she's like outsmarted them and cemented her legacy beyond their wildest dreams while basically robbing them blind, you know, completely devaluing the massive purchase they made in an attempt to destabilize her career. And you know, I'm leaning towards it's gonna be that. It's gonna be her reflecting on the fact that she has risen like a phoenix from the ashes with this whole re-recording strategy that she's had, because I think, you know, when we're going back to confessions and Midnights and things that we wanted to say and calls we wanted to make and emails that we've never sent, that kind of sticks out to me as something that she has not fully delved into. So yeah, sonically, I feel like this song is going to have a Mad Woman vibe. I think it's going to be in a minor key. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a sedated production. Now, I'm having a suspicion that all of the songs on this record are going to be pretty upbeat in general. I don't think we're going to have Folklore Evermore moments per se, but if there was going to be a slower or a more reflective moment on this record, I would expect it here. And we also must consider what place this is on the track list. For the standard version, this is the closing track. Like, we are wrapping it up here, girls. Taylor's closing bookends usually resolve the overall narrative of an album in some way. So Red, Begin Again, is a great example of that. She's gone through this tumultuous turmoil, this unyielding heartbreak, and by the end of the record, this thing that she thought was going to plague her and control her destiny for the rest of her life, this massive heartbreak, this feeling of loss, was slowly but surely eased. On a Wednesday in a cafe, she watched it begin again. So that's a good example. And there are plenty of other songs, depending on whether you think they're successful or not is another conversation. But you know, Daylight is also another one of those resolve songs. Long Live is too. Change is in its own way. Evermore is kind of about sewing up the last remnants of an old wound. Somehow, however, I think that particular wound she was referencing, you know, 2016, the cancellation and stuff, will definitely be coming up on this record. But perhaps Mastermind will be more curious. Something akin to Folklore's closer, Hoax, which is notably an outlier when it comes to being a bookend in the Taylor Swift discography. Hoax as a closing track was actually very compelling because it added this layer of intrigue and mystery and unresolve, which I think is a closing in and of itself fitting for Folklore, because it was pretty much a complete surprise and it was also fictional. And I would say in the back of her mind, she knew that Folklore wasn't over because she had not yet completed Evermore, or she knew that she was going to keep writing, or she was in the middle of writing Evermore. I believe that they dovetailed into each other very neatly. So Hoax to me is kind of like a placeholder, and Evermore is the real closing song of Folklore and Evermore combined. But that does not mean that she could go rogue with this and make it to be something that arises more questions. Perhaps she wants to do a sequel to Midnight's, Noons, the next album, TS11. Who knows? I can see this track going in a ruminating on the masters kind of situation way. Perhaps also sonically, this could be a triumphant version of that conversation where she might be gloating about how she's the queen of the world and has completely, you know, turned these men's smiles into frowns. And I could see that kind of sounding a little bit like New Romantics. The next track on the agenda to discuss is Vigilante Shit. Now, I just truly have no idea what this song is going to be about. Head empty, no thoughts at all at any point ever. I mean, that's me on a usual day, but when I heard this title, I was like, I have no fucking clue what's going on. I'm like not even excited to hear the new track names anymore because I'm just finding it so hard to picture them. But this is kind of what I came up with when I sat down and really tried to think about it. I can kind of see this being related to the master situation as well, quite clearly. And to be a vigilante is to seek justice outside of a formal mechanism for justice. So outlaws, bounty hunters, people like that, you know. And what do they tend to do? They kind of fuck shit up. They can be a little anarchistic. They want to destroy systems and tear them down in order to find that justice they're so desperately seeking. I feel that this song could be a complete smash in more ways than one. Because the stakes seem to be so high with these records and we've returned to confessional writing, I think this might be a song about what she would like to do to Scooter and Scott, or what she would like to say, but has yet to do or say formally and officially. She's indirectly dragged them through the mud and referenced them kind of subtly a few times, but I think this could be her bubbling over moment, the extrapolation of the what ifs of how she would handle it if she didn't have to contain herself and put on a respectable air in public to maintain her position as America's queen / princess. Another possibility is this could be about a time when she wanted to really go ape on an ex, or an ex really wanted to go ape on her. After all, these are midnights from a range of time in her life, so we could be going back to a heartbreak that maybe wasn't ever officially closed. Maybe it's about 2016 and the Bleachella era, and where she was truly living in a space of fuck it. I think I've discussed this a couple times on the podcast, and maybe also my debunking karma video, but Bleachella was an era of total chaos and upheaval where Taylor was really not sure that she would A, be able to recover her reputation at all, or if she would even have a career to come back to and a public willing to receive her. So perhaps Vigilante Shit is a middle of the night dispatch from that time where she was so kind of balls to the wall, fuck it, I'm gonna do me, and who cares what the consequences of doing me are. I think this song is gonna go hard though, and I'm getting closure production. That's kind of my prediction, is that there's going to be like rattling and banging and clanging, and it's going to sound like she's fucking shit up because, you know, she has every right to fuck shit up should she want to make that her mission in life. I just know that this song is gonna hit different. It's gonna be different. It's not gonna be like anything else in the discography, and I'm very excited to see it. Okay, track 7, ... Out of all of them, this one conjures no images in my brain. Like the other ones I can kind of like, when I sit down and think about it, I can dream up a train of thought to follow and kind of go down a rabbit hole. But question with the ellipses and the question mark is so incredibly vague. Like it's just so porous and ambiguous. I cannot possibly like just visualize where she's heading with it, and I would love a clue. Perhaps there's a tongue-in-cheek aspect to this, you know? The only hunch I have, this inkling, is that it might bang, is that it's gonna be a banger. And it's the ellipses that are making me think that this is a fun song, as though this has some sort of ironic tongue-in-cheek element to it, and it could be fun. But also, I'm wondering, like, you know, again, going back to the midnight dispatches, the ruminations, there are fateful life-altering mistakes in life. Or, you know, maybe they don't lead you to the wrong path, but they lead you down a different path, something completely different to what you thought it was gonna be before. And I'm wondering if this song is about a road that she maybe wanted to take and didn't take, you know, or about an alternative reality or a different way her life could have shaken out had she just made one little decision differently. You know how sometimes when you stay up really late and you just start to spiral and second guess every decision you've ever made, and it feels like your life is completely out of control or out of your hands, or that you're like a participant watching your life move while you stay stagnant and don't do anything to change it? Maybe it's that kind of vibe. Or maybe I'm projecting, but again, I have no clue. Track 6 is Midnight Rain. The track positioning, track 6, it's after track 5, so I think we might do a rebound from a low moment or a sad moment or an introspective moment to an up moment. And words cannot describe how excited I am for Midnight Rain. I've already claimed it. Off the bat, it's giving me Fearless energy. It's giving me sequel to Fearless the song from Fearless the album. It's about confession. It's about the overwhelming urge to tell someone that you love them, feeling so intensely for a person that you just can't keep it to yourself anymore, and you have to explode in the middle of the night and let them know all of your innermost enchanted feelings. And I also anticipate that this will be poetically and beautifully written with plenty of gorgeous imagery. I hope there will be a moment like this one from Fearless, you know, where she's singing about there's a glow off the pavement, you walk me to the car, setting it up for dancing in a storm in her best dress, Fearless. Like, what a visual. Hall of Fame visual in my mind, even though we didn't even really get a proper like video or whatever for it. The words themselves just conjure up something so cinematic, and that is the vibe that I am getting from Midnight Rain. I also love when Taylor does a self-referential moment, and the fact that these are collected from different periods of her life really fills me with hope that we're going to get some sort of meditation, reflection, looking back. I think she's been in that mode of revisiting the past and kind of reviewing the positions that she held and the stakes that she had at different times in her life, especially during the re-recordings process. That has been such a time-traveling and transformative experience for her that I think it's opened up this complete new like vision of creativity for her. So I hope that she really addresses her hopes or the dreams that she once had from long ago in a way that is moving and also fitting and appropriate and acknowledging of where she's been in the past. I would adore this as a full circle moment of the present moment Taylor that's more chilled and perhaps jaded, colliding with a wider-eyed, more fearless, younger version of herself. And also, to me, this is the only track so far that is the clearest example of a sweet dream, because in the message that she posted when she was announcing Midnights, she mentioned that not all of them are going to be agonizing despair. Some of them are going to be like sweet dreams, and it's really giving me kind of enchanted vibes, if you know what I mean. Like that kind of hushed, breathless, whimsical sense of falling in love for the first time or feeling like anything could happen. And then finally we have track 2, Maroon. Now, I know there are kind of two schools of thoughts that are already emerging on this. At the time that I'm filming this, Maroon is the recently announced song title, so anything beyond Maroon's announcement, I have not seen. Some people are thinking that it's going to be about the actual feeling of being marooned, the emotional experience of, you know, being put on an island, left at sea, abandoned, set adrift. Others are thinking that it's going to be more color oriented, I guess. The more basic among us are thinking that it's just gonna have a direct correlation to the color. And someone was saying it might be about the night that she lost Album of the Year for Red. And at first I was like, that's so stupid. She would never make an obvious connection like that, but yes, she would. That is the exact kind of thing that she would do. And Maroon is like a sadder, muted, more depressing tone of Red, which is, you know, a bright, vibrant, urgent color and sensation. And the whole album and album cycle was kind of like a tightrope walk between these very very intense states of being and emotions, the state of grace and the bright burning red of being in love or feeling heartbroken. And she has referenced that night of losing Album of the Year as a really specific turning point in her career. I think we've seen how deeply these losses of confidence from critics in her ability as a songwriter or a cultural commentator, how these things mark her and upset her and make her doubt herself. For example, Miss Americana, we see when she hears that Reputation was not nominated for any Grammys, I can imagine that Red hurt a lot more because Red was a lot more painful subject matter wise, and it was a lot earlier on in her career when she wasn't so cemented as a serious grown-up artist. And we already have songs like Nothing New in the Vault, which was written prior to the Red album even coming out. So I would be curious to see that interim period between Red and 1989 before she went full girl boss and decided she was gonna be a pop star. There was an extremely low moment that she had there. And I am wondering if this is a dispatch from that night. That empty feeling of nothingness, of being passed over, of being passé even, of having your moment kind of taken away from you and having the world move on to a shinier thing. I am getting kind of a contemplative Last Kiss vibe from this song, just because of the title, and I don't know, okay, it's just the vibe that I'm getting from it. If it's about a relationship, I could see this being about like a young love, an early love, a very first fragile broken heart, because, you know, that always feels so urgent and impossible in the moment, but when you revisit it with some tenderness, like a maroon color instead of a red color. You come back to it and it feels muted, but still painful and sad. I'm not really getting a Sweet Dream vibe from this unless it's kind of a melancholic feeling, a The One from Folklore kind of vibe, if you will. The other songs of hers that come to mind from the discography when I think of this song are Gold Rush and 'Tis the Damn Season. I cannot explain, but that is kind of where I'm going and where I'm heading with this in my brain. To me, this is maybe the most folklorian song on the record. It's ambiguous, and it's a track 2, which actually gives me pause because track 2s tend to be really fucking big bangers, okay? We have Blank Space, Cruel Summer, Red, Sparks Fly, at just absurd levels of banging and pop greatness going on here. So perhaps we're gonna get a very iconic big banger moment that we haven't had in a really long time. Who can say? Who can say? I'm just gonna go crazy if I keep sitting here speculating. So that's all I have for you, RE the speculations. I'm so curious to hear what your opinion on them is. Now I can do my State of the Union for the Swifties. So hello Swifties, what's up? I am very excited to kind of go forward with my channel from here. I have been really loving reading your guys' comments about the different kind of explorations into other topics that I've done so far. So far, it's just the Lorde video and my ranking celebrities that I've met, and I think that they both went down pretty well, and especially the Lorde one, which was so fun for me to make, although it did take a long time to make that. I really enjoyed reading all those intelligent, thoughtful comments that you guys have. I'm really enthusiastic about creating a space where we can have smart pop culture conversations at a slightly less feverish pitch than in other corners of the internet. So I'm so thrilled with how that's been going so far, and I can't wait to make more videos from you. So what I need to know, I actually need to hear from you, you guys. I'm doing a census. I have 2 things that I need to ask you. So the first one is, I know that we want to do more pop culture commentary videos. A couple of ideas that I have so far are Katy Perry's Witness, why that kind of went down the drain and what happened to it, and why Katy Perry has kind of fallen off from the American imagination as one of the biggest pop stars in the world. I also am gonna do one on why I'm still rooting for Demi Lovato, because that's just like a personal interest one, and I feel like people are so bamboozled when I say that, so I think it's gonna be good clickbait, basically. And the third video that I'm gonna be doing is my Lana Del Rey video. Now that one is taking me forever, so I am no further comments on that, but it's coming, so know that it's coming. Aside from those 3, what would you like to hear? LMK, I would love to know. The second thing that I need to get your input, opinions, feedback on, or just to confirm that I'm like getting this right, is that I posted in my community tab on YouTube the other day asking about merch, because people have been asking me about this literally since the start of my channel, and obviously I was like not in a position to be doing this when I had like 500 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers. We are rapidly approaching 9 at the moment, which is amazing, and when we get to 10, I feel like I can really start like taking more action towards like building this community out properly in the way that I want to do it, and merch is for sure a part of that. Now, this is the vibe that I want to do, okay? I don't want to do YouTuber merch. I am not interested in doing a drop ship thing where I like find cheap resources online like sweaters or shirt samples and I just get a logo or something slapped onto them and shipped to you. That is by far the cheapest and easiest way to do any sort of like apparel brand, but that's just not my vibe. It doesn't fit the tone of my channel. It doesn't fit the effort that I put into the videos and the effort that you guys give to me when you're commenting and sharing all your ideas and thoughts with me. So I am thinking of doing something a little bit more involved, a little bit more design oriented, I guess. I want to do like an aesthetic apparel brand. I don't want it to be merch. I don't want you to be walking around wearing a sweatshirt with my face on it. I want this to be something that is like kind of like a subtle wink to the Swifties in your life. Like when you're out and about and you want to wear some Taylor Swift merch, but maybe you don't want to have like lover written all over your chest. You want to have something a little bit more, you know, for the insiders, for the people who get the vibe. That is where I think my little brand that I want to start can come in and supply you with something. Obviously, I will have something that says Swiftologist because I just feel that anybody who's interested in Taylor Swift and likes like talking about her or thinking about her would like to be called Swiftologist. That's not even like really related to my channel name. So in that community tab, these are the kinds of most important things that I picked up on that I'm going to be keeping in mind when I go forward sourcing where I'm going to start this all. So we want to have inclusive sizing with options for everybody. I'm going to do that insofar as I humanly possibly can. It's also, I think, important that I minimize waste wherever I can. So I'm going to try and do my very best to be as sustainable as I can with this process. Now, I'm not sure what that commitment is going to look like. I know that calling something sustainable is more than just being like, oh, I went to a place and like found this and it seemed nice. There are like certifications and efforts and steps that you have to take. I'm not sure if I can jump through all those hoops just now as I'm starting up, but I'm definitely keeping that like at front of mind because I don't want to be contributing like unnecessary waste to the planet more than what I already am. I mean, with any apparel brand, there is going to be a certain amount of waste created. Let's just be upfront and honest and straightforward about that. So if you're not interested in creating more waste or supporting the apparel brand, please feel free to not purchase it or pay attention to it. Totally good with that. It seems that you guys are into the idea of it being more apparel brandy than merchy, and something that many people seem to like is the idea of having our little inside jokes or the things that I say, the phrases that I've coined on this channel, having some of those involved in the merch options as well. And I want it to be a couple of wearable items and then like maybe like a journal. Someone suggested a journal that said journalist by trade, Swiftie by choice. I thought that was hilarious. So maybe a journal and a mug, I'm thinking, and a hat too could come into play, but definitely like sweaters, sweatshirts, shirts. I was thinking maybe doing like a sweat set. I don't want to give too much away before I even like go and source this properly, but that's kind of where I'm going with it in my brain right now. A couple of other concerns that I want to address before I get into doing it is a lot of people were wondering about cost and they were also wondering about shipping. So shipping is kind of out of my control. If I don't drop ship stuff where I'm printing my logo on like someone else's clothing items and sending them to you, if I'm doing it myself, that means that I have to pay for the shipping and do all the fulfillment and do the customer service by myself. So I can only work with the prices of the market. And obviously I'm not gonna get super favorable rates if I'm doing small shipments. I will do my very best to keep it as low as possible. I will absorb as much of that cost as I can while still, you know, being able to create this for you. But I wanna just keep everyone's expectations in mind that shipping is not gonna be free. And also in terms of the sustainable fabrics and being really involved and hands-on with the design, which I'm planning to do, I will not be able to charge like $2 for a sweatshirt. It's not gonna be what the Taylor Swift merch store is, no freaking way. And again, if you are not willing to pay for that, that's totally all good. I'm gonna try and have smaller items as well, like different things for everybody. So if you're interested, that you can definitely grab something from the inevitable Swiftologist line. The next steps are to go and source the fabric and source a supplier and like a factory and go and get some samples made. And that is what I'm gonna do. I'm sourcing it regionally. I'm not gonna say where yet because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure I know where it's gonna be. I have a couple of contacts there already and I'm excited to start this. It's kind of scary for me because I'm gonna have to like invest a pretty like large chunk of my money into doing this, but I hope that it will be successful. And if it's not, you know, just another lesson learned. That's all I have for you today. And I will see you very soon in my next video. And I hope that you have a wonderful week. And you know, we're officially in Midnight's month and also my birthday month, 27th of October. Don't forget it. Okay, goodbye, Swifties.